Yo, what is up? We're doing a little trade recap today. I took two trades today. One was a win and the other was a loss. I am now down on the day. I'm going to show you exactly what I saw. I was trading on micros, but I'm going to be, because that whole chart is a mess right now, I'm going to be going straight over to minis and showing you guys what I was looking at. A lot of trickery today, and I mean a lot of trickery. Right off the bat, what do we see? Let's just look on ES. We have my dog just ran downstairs. Leave me alone, bro. Get some coffee. I'm gonna try to make this quick, but it's also wanting to be detailed because alone, not only am I trying to teach others, my buddy Devin, on what I saw in the market today, I'm trying to understand myself of what went wrong, what did I do exactly, and what was my thought process going into this. Just to journal my whole emotions, what I was thinking going into the market, when I was about to enter my trade, during the trade, and when I was out of the trade. So right off the bat, what do we see? We can tell that we have been pushing higher on S&P 500. Same with NASDAQ. The two are a pair. And what do we see on these two time frames? We have a 4-hour gap right here, bullish, which we come back down into. Just an FYI today. We're pushing in. We just swept. This right here is a 1-hour buy-side liquidity. As you can tell, that was a buy-side liquidity right there that we just swept, by the way. So that's something I also should have noted, where we are most likely going to get a reversal. On top of that, we have this high time frame bearish 4-hour fair value gap. We are pushing into it on ES and on NQ. We inverse it. So this is the thing that fucked with me. So going into the market, I'll just say this right now. My initial bias today was shorts. I wanted shorts today. And I was thinking that, hey, we are going to trend shorter because, and I can show you on a 30-minute time frame in a minute or two here, but on the 15, 30-minute time frame during London session and going into New York, we are manipulating higher. We are pushing higher, and we never got a reversal. We're not consolidating. We are trending higher. So what I usually expect from that is when we get previous session manipulation, let's say we're just trending higher, we're expecting New York to give a reversal. So if we were pushing lower during a London session, I'm expecting New York to give me moves higher. And so we'll just go to the 15-minute actually right off the bat. Replay, select bar. We're going to 8:15 a.m. I mark out London Open. This is London Open right here, right? We are pushing higher. This isn't consolidation. This is straight up pushing higher into manipulation because, like I said, we ended up sweeping that buy-side liquidity on one of the pairs. I'm expecting a reversal lower. That was my bias for the day. Well, we go into the 1 hour. Now I can turn this off. I can get rid of this because this got inverse. I don't even know why I kept that on my charts. It's annoying. The one thing that fucked with me today, because my buddy Zach, he ended up having a completely opposite bias of me today, and I'm going to show that in a minute here. But we are respecting this 4-hour while NQ inverses it. So that threw me off big time. Now, what are we expecting to with this? Because when I saw this inverse, I'm like, oh, we're probably going to want to get into this 4-hour. We're pushing higher now. Well, with ES respecting it, this is where it comes down to where it's like, okay, we got to kind of step back from this high time frame alliance. Because if the 4-hour is looking like it's looking bearish on one pair, which is right here, we're respecting this gap, and it's looking bullish on this pair with the inverse. Okay, well, let's scale down into the lower time frames now, just to give an idea. After we inversed, what do we see? Around 9 to 10 a.m., we see a 1-hour inverse to the downside. This should have been my telltale sign. Okay, this is a 1-hour inverse. This should have been my sign like, okay, we're going shorts, right? We're going to be looking for shorts. I'm going to show you the initial setup that I should have taken today. So we have a low right here as well on NASDAQ that I'm going to mark out. We have this low right here, which just got hit. On top of that, we end up having 30-minute sell side right here. So we had, let's just say this for now. We had a sell side liquidity sweep of 30-minute. We had a 30-minute low right here, and a down candle, up candle, right? What do we see right here? Once market opens around 9 a.m., we sweep past, actually around 8:30 a.m. to 9, we sweep past this low. So we're on NQ. What are we looking at currently? This is that low, right? We get a 5-minute break of structure to the downside to go sweep this low. What do we see after that 5-minute break of structure? We see a bearish 5-minute for value gap. Right here, we have that bearish 5-minute for value gap. So right off the bat, we're going into the market. I ended up getting in on buy side on ES. It was right around here, and it ended up getting hit at a 1-to-1. Actually, I think it was this pair got hit at a 1-to-1. So I was up $130 on the day, and I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to still sit on this market because it's not a crazy win, and I don't care if I take a loss. I want to see a solid setup. Well, I got a solid setup. I didn't see it because I was looking at ES, and I'll explain why. But like I said, we get a 30-minute sell-side liquidity sweep right here. Price pushes right back up, does a little seek and destroy, seeks down here, destroys all the way up here to go then seek lower. We get a 5-minute break of structure. Where is our break of structure point? You could say right there. It would be, we don't have a low around here, but this is their most recent low at this point. A down candle, up candle. We break structure. We have a 5-minute break of structure right here. 5-minute break of structure. That's where that line's marked out. We have a 5-minute for value gap. It retraces into that at 9:45. So at this point, I'm scaling down into the 1-minute or the 2-minute time frame. And like I said, 9:45 was then. 9:45, we come back into it. We're rejecting out of it. We're looking for a 1-minute break of structure. So then my trade should have been, say right here, short. We get our break of structure. Actually, I don't even think it was on this time frame. There we go. Break of structure right here. Stops at the high, the most recent high. And then what are we doing when we're entering in positions? We for take profits, we're going to, I'm having an internet issue. Hold on. We go to the 5-minute. And we're marking out 5-minute low. At this point when we're going shorts, we're marking out 5-minute lows and 5-minute imbalances. Well, off the bat, we have a imbalance right here, which will play out not a good risk to reward, right? So, but we're just noticing that. So we can do the middle of this imbalance, this 5-minute imbalance that we have, as you can tell. Let me move this around right here. We have the middle of this 5-minute imbalance. If we inverse it, that's a 1-to-1. We can go down to this low, which is a 1-to-1.5. We can go down to this low, which is a 1-to-1.94, or the sell side sweep that we had at the bottom of the day, which is a 1-hour sweep, which is a 1-to-2. I'm going to let this play out real quick. We're going to go to the 1-minute. Look at this playing out. Oh. Boom. This would have been a 1-to-2 in a day. This would have been $800 for me. This was a setup. 30-minute sell side sweep, 5-minute break of structure. That's 2 confluences. 5-minute retrace, 1-minute break of structure. On top of that, let's do something else here. Let's go to the 5-minute. No equilibrium. 4 confluences. This would have been the setup for today. A 1-to-2. Now, to show you what I got in on, which, looking back on this, this sucks. This sucks ass. We're gonna get rid of this. We're gonna go to the select bar replay, and we're going to go back to 9 a.m. So this was shortly after I got out of that first trade. We're gonna get rid of this. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to go over to ES. All right. We're in the 5-minute. So this is what I was marking out. This is what screwed me. We don't want our low right here that ES goes and taps into. So we're going to go back to the 5-minute. I was looking on ES because we got an SMT. This is the hard part when it comes to trading. We're going to go back to here. We're going to go one candle. Boom. All right, we're going to stop there. We're going to stop right there. As you can see, at this low at 1:55 a.m., that was a 1:55 a.m. This candle got made. This low got made over here, right? That's what I have marked out. Is this low? It's this candle in the wick. Over here at 9:20, we are sweeping past it. We swept past this low. 9:20 on this candle. This is that low I was talking about. We have not swept past it. So what I ended up marking out was this SMT, because ES made a lower low and NQ made a lower high, right? Oh, damn it. Boom. What do I wait for? We get a 5-minute break of structure, right? I'm going to put this back. We get the 1 hour liquidity sweep, 5-minute break of structure, which is right here. We have an up candle, down candle. What do? We break past that point. All right. So then my position was right here. And my stops were at these lows. And I was going to target this 5-minute imbalance for the first take profit, right? And then this would be second take profit. And then all the way up here would have been the third and all this stuff up here. I was looking to get like a 1-to-1, 1-to-2, 1-to-3 potentially right through in here, right? Well, what do we could see right into this trade as well? As long we see we have a 5-minute bearish fair value gap that price respects. By the way, at the same time, my buddy sent me this. So this was my trade I had marked up, this SMT. At the same time that I'm looking to inverse this gap to then go higher, for the trade to go higher because I'm already in, what do we see over here? Oh my gosh, it's the same fucking setup where we had that 5-minute break of structure. We had the 30-minute sell side sweep, 5-minute break of structure, a retrace into this gap. And what do we see? It respects it to move lower. So on NASDAQ, like I said, this is why bias plays such an important part in your high time frame bias and making sure it's correct, which in the beginning of the day, it was correct. And I'm going to explain why I fucked myself over. Boom. What do we see? Respects it. We go, and then this is where we go, like I said, on NASDAQ, we go to the 1 minute. We go to the 1 minute, we get that break of structure. Stops at the high. Target these lows. 1-to-2, around there. So at the same time that my buddy Zach was looking to get in on this setup, I was on ES, not looking at NASDAQ. I was looking in to get in a setup. Like I said, if we go to the 5 minute, I was entered in a position right here. Completely, we both had complete opposite bias. All right, I'm not going to be able to get the... We're going to put it there. I was looking for a position like this. On ES, he was looking for a position like this. Complete opposite biases. Crazy thing is, we both had the confluences for this to go, right? But this is why your high time frame bias plays such an important part. And like I said, if I go to the 15 minute, what do we see in the, even let's just do the 5 minute. What do we see in the 5 minute coming into London, London session open? London session opens right around here. We are just manipulating higher. What should I be expecting? A reversal. When we're just manipulating into London session, we are expecting a reversal coming into New York. And we're looking for our confluences to go into a reversal. The thing I fucked up on was looking on the higher time frames and not understand. Like this right here is what threw me off. We inversed this 4 hour, and I had the same issue yesterday. We inversed this 4 hour on ES, and NASDAQ respected it. What I should have expected, and from what I'm going to tell myself from now on, is if we're on a higher time frames and one of the pairs just inverse, let's say we're down here. Let's say the pair inverse this gap. NASDAQ came all the way down. I'm going to do the drawing. Let's say we push lower and we come down into here and we inverse. Let's say this candle closes here. And on ES, on this 4 hour, it respects it. And then it moves a little higher. What I am going to assume from now on is to not always just look at the inverse. It's like, okay, we're not just going to expect from now on, okay, well, if let's say if it NASDAQ inverse and ES respected it, Now we have to be looking for lawns because he has respected it. No, we're going to go back and look at what did London Session do beforehand. What did London Session do in the beginning of the day? Then we also need to think about what draws are easier to hit. When we got to think about when the market's moving. The market always wants to take out the easiest points of draws on liquidity or imbalances. It wants to fill its orders in the easiest way possible. Do you think we're going to want to, at this point, holy cow, I got a lot. Do you think we're going to want to come up here and go all the way to these highs right now, or do you think we're going to want to go sweep out a low that we had in between here? NASDAQ too. Do you think NASDAQ is, when we're at this point, going to want to go have to deal with this 4 hour to then go inverse here? Or for today, get a retrace lower, sweep out a low here, and then possibly tomorrow or in the next week be going higher, right? It was a very, very, very confusing day, and that's okay. That's fine. I just wanted to run through the confluences too. Both of the setups that I had today, like this setup here, this short setup, had four confluences. On ES, the long setup had a sell side 1 hour sweep, 5 minute SMT, that's two confluences, 5 minute inverse, and a 5 minute break of structure, and a 1 minute inverse for value gap. That's 4 as well. Well, yes, that's the thing you need to understand is your high time frame bias. My buddy Zach, he was texting me. Let me try to find this real quick. What was he saying?
You're really going to find your high time frame biases. Where is that 4 hour going to go? Right? Okay, NQ. It's far from those highs. There's no way it's going to take those highs today. ES high, way away from those highs too. Alright? ES respects it, NQ doesn't. What do you think price is going to do based on your bias with NQ? Okay, NQ disrespected it, while ES respected it. NQ, there's no way it's going for those highs, so we must have a short bias. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
He was going to say it's hard to explain my thought process with this. Maybe it's just something that he can understand. And that comes with market experience and being able to see enough time on the charts in these high time frame confluences to know where price wants to go. For me as a beginner, and for what I'm going to tell you, the same thing, Devin, is when you want to come into the market open and you're coming in and you want to find out your bias, go through TJR's video on how to find your daily bias and write down the notes. Because what I've noticed on the 50K account that I was on, that was when I looked at what previous session did, London session, whether it was previous session manipulation and we got a reversal in the London session. Let's say London session gave us manipulation and reversal. I'm expecting New York to continue that trend. That works 8 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10 times that fucking works. Let's say London session gets us a manipulation and we don't get a reversal during London session, we're expecting New York to reverse. Today, straight manipulation. We are manipulating higher to sweep out all these highs up around here, right? We're manipulating higher into London Open, and we do not get a reversal. What are we expecting in New York? A reversal. I'm screaming this because I need to get it in my head, and I've been really, really disciplined with this as of lately. Really fucking disciplined with following that. It's just today, and like I said, I noticed that today, and I told myself into the market, hey, we're going to probably want to see a reversal today, but what about the high time frame confluences? What's the high time frames telling us? Well, we inverse, like me going into it, I was like, well, we just inversed the 4 hour and ES respected it. So it's like, now I don't really know. That threw me off because at that point, I had no clarity and no conviction. Why would I take another setup, right? Because now I'm slightly confused. What I should have expected was, okay, well, let's say we inverse this, and I at least want us to maybe tap in here, fill this, and then get a retracement. We didn't do that. We just inversed it. Let's see if there's anything on the 1 hour. There's no gap on the 1 hour. We just inversed it, and we got a retracement. Why? So, and that's the thing I should have started looking at, too, was, like I said, when you see something like that, the 4 hours being misaligned. NASDAQ showing bullish with the inverse. ES respected the fair value gap, so it's giving us like, possibly bearish or consolidation. We scale down in the lower time frames, and what did I see? Like I said, we had a 1 minute bullish for value gap in between here, which We inversed. We inversed that. Tell me what we want to go lower. Even into this point, what are we doing around 9 a.m. to 10 a.m.? We are inversing this gap and this gap. We're pushing lower, and what are we coming back down into? Finally, which you see what we end up tapping into on ES is, what is this little thing I have right here? This is right where I got the SMT. This is a 4-hour gap. You can tell I got the 4 behind it. We're coming into this 4-hour gap. So if I go to the 5-minute, what are we doing? This is that same 4-hour gap. We just displaced lower into it. We aren't inversing it because the 4-hour candle hasn't closed yet. But we came into it. We're respecting it, this 5-minute, and we just, bro, it's like, damn, man. This shit's hard. It's not easy whatsoever. But it's just understanding what I did wrong in the day. And what I did wrong today was not sticking to my bias. Take a bias, stick with it. I was long bias. Well, this is the thing too, is why would I be long bias? Like I said, I know myself that the market wants to go and sweep out the easiest draws in liquidity and fill in the easiest imbalances. What does that mean? The ones that are closest to it. We had a 4-hour imbalance right here. By the time we're right here, we had a 4-hour imbalance right here. And we had a 1 hour and 4 hour. We had a 4-hour gap in between here. Why don't we just go and tap into this? Same thing with on NASDAQ. We had a 4-hour gap in between here and a 4-hour imbalance in between here. And on top of that, we had 1-hour imbalances in between here and everything. Why would we, we should just assume if price wants to go for the easiest points, the ones that are closest to it, it's going to want to come down into these ones rather than go all the way up through to here, right? Same thing on ES. It's going to want to come down into the imbalances and all the price action that we have in between here, then instead of going all the way to these fucking highs, right? And it sucks because I was feeling confident in this trade, but I'm glad he showed me this because this setup that I took, I was like, well, it's just not, it doesn't always work out. 9 out of 10 times, I will take this trade over and over and over again. And honestly, to be honest, if the high time frame bias aligned with this, I'd be long, and we could have gone for all these fucking highs up here. But what were we really wanting? We were wanting all these lows down here and imbalances in between. And it takes time. It definitely takes clarity and conviction. I woke up late today. I felt like shit, and that alone will fuck with you in your trading. So it's like tonight, I'm going to work my ass off. I'm about to go to the gym after this to clear my mind, declutter everything. And then I'm going to work tonight. I'm going to come home tonight, go to bed early, be up early tomorrow. Tomorrow is No News Monday. We have 920 yellow folder. I'm going to treat it like a normal trading day. I'm going to be extremely disciplined. And because I took a loss today and I'm down $300 on the account right now, just even 1-1 puts me back at break even on this account, and a 1-2, I mean, I'm back up on the account, but I'm going to be extremely disciplined with this tomorrow, and from there on. So tomorrow, one thing I'm going to make a rule for myself tonight or today, and it's to stick to it tomorrow, is when I get onto the market, look at what the previous sessions did. I want to give another example, because maybe this could show something nice. What did we see today? So yesterday, this was Wednesday, 2:30 a.m. London session opens. What do we see? Manipulation lower, right? Previous session manipulation. We're manipulating all these lows in between here once London session opened, right? Previous session manipulation. We do not get the reversal during London session. What are we expecting New York to do? Reverse. What does it do the rest of the day? From open right here to close, we got a reversal to the buy side. Watch. And this is the same thing, different direction. Today, manipulation higher. We do not get the reversal. Right? What are we expecting? Boom. Fucking boom. Or even previous session manipulation. Let's say this is the reversal, right? We're expecting, so you could even say previous session manipulation, we get the reversal. We're wanting to continue lower. Or you can say previous session manipulation. This isn't the reversal. This is more consolidation. We get the reversal lower. Like, it's literally 2 days in a row, the bias was correct. 2 days in a row, just from the last 2 days. I mean, I could go back to Wednesday. Wednesday's a little harder. Manipulate higher. Oh, yeah, perfect. Wednesday. What do? We open. We manipulate the lows in between here. We manipulate this fair value gap. We're manipulating lows right here. Let's just look at this. We're manipulating this low right when London session opens. What do we see? We get a reversal. What are we expecting? A continuation. Boom. Or even, like, it's fucked. No, actually, this was different. We get somewhat manipulation, but then we end up getting slight consolidation. What are we expecting into New York? Manipulation and reversal. What do we see here? This line I have right here is a 5-minute SMT. We ended up sweeping out highs on NASDAQ and ES. Obviously, NASDAQ swept out these highs, ES didn't, and we get our move lower. Like, I personally, from now on, the rule I'm going to keep with myself is don't get so caught up in what the high time frame confluences are doing. More focus on what did London session do and what did Asian session do. And this is for you, Devin, as well. You can get this simple sessions, one solid OP, close 10. Indicator on to show you when the London session, Asian session open, right? Or you could just turn on these, which will tell you the London highs, London lows, Asian session highs, Asian session lows. Like even today, we have the London highs right here. Why? We aren't going for these London highs today, obviously. We start displacing lower. Where did we end up going to? London lows, Asian session lows, and now even previous, possibly, London day lows. But for me, the rule is, when it comes to finding my bias, tomorrow, into the next day, go on to the 15-minute, and mark up, okay, let's say tomorrow we open, we manipulate higher, we're not really getting a reversal. What am I expecting? We're going to reverse lower. So let's say Monday open is like this, where we manipulate lower. Friday. Let's say tomorrow, I'm looking at London session opens and it's pushing lower. I'm expecting, if we don't get a reversal, that, hey, we're going to be going bullish bias today. Because once you determine your bias, then it's clear to just look for where price is going, all right? Because today, my bias was confused, so that's why I was looking for longs, when really my initial bias coming in today was short. Because I got so caught up in these high time frame confluences. And you can't just get caught up in the high time frame confluences. You have to do a little more than that, and that's why it's important to mix that in with like previous session manipulation and accumulation and all of this, and distribution on top of that, which I might be speaking gibberish now to you, but like I said, I know you've watched I'm pretty sure you've watched, Devin, this is for you, I'm pretty sure you've watched the TJR video on daily bias, so you know like what I'm talking about with the manipulation and reversal. Stick with that when it comes to your finding your bias. Stick with that. Otherwise, I'm trying to think about what else I could maybe run through that I did wrong today. This, like I said, this was the setup I got, and I took a loss. I was in drawdown most of this trade. As you can tell, if we click on this, I was in drawdown most of this trade. I was in profit for a short amount, and then we went fucking down. Whereas if I was looking on NASDAQ, and this is the thing too, is NASDAQ gave me my better entry. NASDAQ gave me, like, yes, they were the same confluences, but how my favorite entries are a liquidity sweep, a 5-minute break of structure or inverse for value gap, a 5-minute retrace, and a 1-minute break of structure. What did we get? 30-minute sell side liquidity sweep, right? Right here, we get a sweep of that. Push higher, then we get a 5-minute break of structure, retrace into the 5-minute, 1-minute break of structure, 1 of 2. I'd be up $800 fucking dollars on the day. Which fucking sucks. It definitely sucks. I'll show you guys too what I've been trading on. Top Step X. So this is another thing which I've been trying to get used to. By the way, this was the setup that I marked out. So I'm not lying to you guys. This is what I took a loss on. I'm being fucking honest. I took a loss. But I was usually, so beforehand, what you guys know is I've been taking trades on TradingView, right? Now what I do is I mark up everything on TradingView, and I'm entering in on Top Step X, which I really like because it goes through performance stats. Like I said, total P&L, I'm down $300 on the account, $314. Uh, it's just in the last 2 days. It will go through everything. It has a calendar for everything. Um, yeah. Oh, fuck, that hurt. So 255. It sucks. Shit like this sucks, but it's really cool, and it's been getting used to. Yesterday I took fucking 3 or 4 trades because I was trying to figure out how this fucking platform worked because there's no paper trading from what I can see. Like, that's the thing I liked about TradingView. When I first started using the platform, I could paper trade with fake money to learn how to use this account. When it comes to Top Step X, it's like, all right, there's your account, learn how to use it. And in order for me to do that, I took a couple trades yesterday, and then I ended up taking 2 straight losses, and I took a win after. And today I took a loss. It says 3 trades, 4 trades. I don't know why that says 4, because I entered in on 1 on accident. Got out of that in like 10 seconds. I was like, what the fuck? And I think the other ones that I marked out are, like, it says 4 trades, but I think those were just my take profits because none of those got hit. I just put those on. But I really like Top Step X. I'm really liking this. The only thing you can't do is mark out for value gaps like here, but I can mark out like my positions and everything. So let's say if I wanted to go long right here, which we just got a 5-minute inverse. Let's say I'm just going long right here, put it down to here. I can mark it out, right? Pretty dope. But yeah, this is really it. This was what I ended up taking a loss on. And that's another thing too, is once I should have been looking at NQ, because like I said, I'm looking at this. The main thing that really put me onto a bullish bias was the SMT, because ES made a lower low and NQ made a lower high, right? But I got to understand too, this was a really confusing day. One of my buddies too, he was like, I don't even know what price was doing. It was definitely a confusing day. I'm not excited because I took a loss, but I'm also just like, I just want to understand what I completely did wrong. And I'm just here right now, like I said, just showing you the confluences, showing you what I saw, what I could have gone in on, what I did get in on, and what I could have gone in on. And that's the thing. That's the shit that's tricky with this with trading, is you got to have clear conviction, and there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just you see your fucking strat play out in the market, you just take it. Like, you got to think clearly. Like, okay, well, what is my bias? Because I could be seeing a setup going longs, but it's like, well, I have a short bias. Well, then you got to start questioning yourself. Well, is my bias incorrect? Because you can't be married. That's another thing. You have a bias, but you cannot be married to your bias. Because your bias can always be wrong. So let's say we're getting right here. We're getting the potential to go long, right? But my bias is long, correct? Or let's even say this: we're getting the opportunity to go long right here on ES, but my bias was initially shorts. Well, I gotta start thinking: is my bias wrong, or this setup invalid? Well, why would the setup be invalid? Because if I'm looking on ES, the setup looks pretty fucking solid. I'm getting all my confluences. But to answer that, let's look on NASDAQ. What is NASDAQ's confluences right now? Well, we still have that SMT right there, but we also just got a 30-minute sweep, sell side sweep right around here. On top of that 30-minute sell side sweep, we got a 5-minute break of structure and a 5-minute retrace. So it's like, all right, now I need to start questioning. I should have not entered this trade right off of that. And even in the future, I'm just going to give an advice. Let's say we do have a bullish bias, and we do get a 5-minute SMT after a 1-hour sell side sweep and a 5-minute break of structure. Take that trade. 9 out of 10 times, take that trade. So I'm not like super upset at myself with this. It's just my bias was wrong, because I thought we wanted to not even go up all the way to these highs, but I thought like, hey, well, we're going to want to maybe come to one of these imbalances. Like, as you can see, we have a 5-minute imbalance in between here. Okay, maybe we want to come to this, and that's my first take profit at a 1-to-1. Or second take profit is in between this fair value gap. And the third take profit's if we inverse it. And maybe a fourth take profit is at this high for like a 1-to-3, right? But just to even show you, YouTube. Oh shit, you just posted a new YouTube video. Looks like trouble. Let me hold up. I'm having a daily bias TJR. This video. Watch this video. How to find daily bias step by step. I mean, you could watch this one too, but it's really this, man. Just watch this fucking video. Go over your daily bias, Devin. So then you are not confused on this. But yeah, I to be honest, if my bias was lawns today and we were actually looking to go lawn, like this would have been a nice setup. And that's the thing is too. As soon as I entered in here, the thing that was going to maybe make this thing go long or short was, okay, this gap. Once I entered in, I want to see us inverse this gap, because if we inverse this 5 minute, that's telling me, okay, we're getting strong bullish confirmation of order flow, telling me that, hey, we probably want to even go tap into this fair value gap. Well, know what? We didn't inverse it. So then I should have been looking, like I said, I got too caught up in one pair. I should have been looking on NQ, because I'm looking to inverse, but ES is looking to, NQ is looking to fill to go lower. And we fill it. So at this point, 9:45, like I said, we're in this candle. We're looking to go lower. So we're looking for a break of structure out of that candle. And what do we get? We get that break of structure right here. And like I said, this would have been the trade for the day with a 1 to 2 risk to reward. And if it goes even lower, this could be a 1 to 4. Currently, the lowest thing this thing went was basically almost a 1 to 4, 1 to 3.86, which sucks. And just to run you through the confluences, that was off of a. We're going to go to here. That was off of this up candle, down candle. We have a down candle, up candle. We have a 30-minute low right here, correct? We sweep that low right here. We sweep it. We come back up. We get a 5-minute break of structure to the downside. Right? Retrace into the 5-minute. We scale down then into the 1 minute. 1 minute break of structure. Enter in. It sucks because this is literally my model that I missed out on because I was looking at ES and because I was focused on this SMT. So it's hard at the end of the day, but the best thing you can do as well when you come to losses is recap it, journal it, what you did wrong, what was your thought process, what was your emotions, and then once you do that, and once you can configure what you did wrong and you have clarity on it, get off the charts, go to the gym, just distract yourself the rest of the day and forget about it. And I'm going to do that, and I'm going to come into the charts tomorrow like it's a brand new day, a brand new account, and just fucking go at it and be smart and be disciplined and have proper risk management. I'm not changing my risk management whatsoever. I'm risking $400 every single trade because I'm only trying to take A+ setups. I only am taking A+ setups. And today, this would have been an A+ setup for shorts. And I would have taken that. The only thing that's missing for me is equilibrium. And that would have been fucking pristine. Maybe it's an A setup. And equilibrium gives it that 5 out of 5 confluences. And boom. I'm long in this shit. But even if I look on here, let's just get an idea. Actually, maybe we did have equilibrium. And if we did, I won't be happy with myself. We take it from the most recent high down to the most recent low. Would you look at that? We get equilibrium. Price comes down, comes back in. A+ setup. Comes into a discounted price, which is in this 5-minute fair value gap. And what do we see? We're retracing this 5-minute. 1 minute. Break a structure out. Sucks. It really does suck, but we take it from it, we learn from it, and then going into tomorrow, treat it like a brand new day. Devin, if you have any more questions, text me, man. But this is the setup. So like I said, the main thing I did wrong today was just not sticking to my bias and not having a clear bias. That was the main thing, not having a clear bias. I had my clear bias coming into the market, but as soon as I started looking at the higher time frames and I saw that, well, we inversed on NQ, but in ES it just respected it, that's when we have to start thinking like really deeply and just observing what price action is giving us on both time frames. Not really sticking to a bias, but just observe, okay, well, where could price want to go to next? Because once we respected this, that's telling me, I should have known that, hey, that's telling me that this doesn't want to go higher. NQ inverse, but ES didn't, which is telling me this doesn't want to go higher. It actually might want to do something else. What is that? And then that's where we start moving down over into the next part. Oh, well, we respected it. Maybe we want to come down into this gap or this gap before we move higher, right? So yeah, that's what I did wrong today. That's the recap. Let me know what you think, brother. Devin, if this made sense to you, good. If it didn't, talk to me. We'll talk through it. Yeah, have a wonderful day.